Okay, so we're here with Amara, an ex-JMC student, and we're just going to be chatting about being a female in a male-dominated industry. So what do we need to know?
Yes, so look, I'm a composer. I'm probably a little more recent to the world of composing and TV composing, but I think probably the climate that we're in at the moment is that, as we all know, there's all this sort of women's rights and equality and equal work, equal pay and all that sort of stuff. So I think it's probably a very important topic, but also kind of like a simple topic as well, because look, I've found men to be amazing, like in my networking experiences and in sort of breaking into the industry. Yes, it is a male-dominated industry, but such is sort of like life in many other things, many other areas as well. So there's certainly an imbalance between the genders, something that I'm sure we'd all like to sort of see across all professions to sort of be a little bit more balanced. So having said that, of course, the main people who've been the ones to help me have been men, and they've been awesome because they've been the people that I've reached out to, and they're the person who have really been generous with their time, with their mentoring and with guiding me and letting me pester them with questions and advice. And so look, I think overall I'd have to say hooray to men. They've been really awesome in the process. I suppose the one thing that stands out for me is that and this isn't just from men, this is actually from women as well, but as a composer and as a female composer, and it could be the fact that it's coming from people who aren't necessarily musicians themselves. They might be the writers or the directors of TV shows, and they say, so what sort of music do you do, or what's your niche, or what do you prefer doing? And then you say things like action, dark, gritty, industrial, and there becomes that eyebrow raise and that element of surprise that, like, wow, but you're a chick.
Yeah.
There's that sort of like, oh wow, that's not in a bad way, but it's an element of surprise. And I think the assumption is that but wouldn't, and the next question sometimes to arise from that is, so do you do romantic scores or do you do romantic comedies? And it's like, yeah, I do that too. Like, as most composers have to be in this sort of world, is that they have to be versatile. And so it's like, yeah, I do the romantic comedy, whatever. And I also do the dark, gritty, industrial action sort of thing as well. Often, I think when men step forward for something, that question or that element of surprise isn't necessarily the assumption is that the guy can do the romantic score and the guy can do the action score. It's just, he's versatile. So I think it would be really awesome if we did sort of see that maybe we were able to
not be surprised.
Not be so surprised, when, and it's probably the case with a lot of, maybe because women are starting to creep into other professions and industries these days, which used to be male-dominated, and the same sort of thing goes there, like, oh, she does that? Oh, wow, that's a surprise. And I don't think anyone means disrespect from it, but it would be really cool if one day we sort of didn't have that element of surprise. It's not always the case, but that is something that certainly that I've noticed about being a female in this world. You do get that sort of, oh, that's interesting. I wonder if, and I do sort of wonder as well that maybe, could that maybe work in women's disfavour sometimes, because they think, oh, maybe we'll hire the guy that looks really, tough and bad to do the action film because she kind of doesn't look like she'll be able to cut it. Yeah. But a lot of people as well are really, mature, and they can sort of see past that, and they'll go, hey, we'll just look at her work. Yep, she can do it. Cool, we'll hire her.
Yeah. How do you label your work in terms of like being the person that wrote it? Is it just like your full name, or do you have like a...
Do I have like sort of
pseudonym,
an alias?
Like a stage name?
It's interesting you should say that. Well, I mean, look, right now I just go by me, by full name. But it's interesting you should say that, because a guy I know a few weeks back, he actually said to me, we were at this premiere, film premiere for a friend of his, and he said, do you have another name that you go by? And I think it's because we saw in this film there was a name of, so it looked like more of a, I don't know what the word for it is, like, not, I want to say a pen name or an alias. It's not that. It's, I don't know.
Pseudonym?
Yeah, maybe that's what it, I think so. You know, and he said, you know, do you have something like that? And I said, no, I don't. And I said, but it might not be a bad idea, because I think maybe if you go by something different, then you're sort of like, you're not necessarily setting up a preconceived idea. And we all do that, you know, we conjure up sort of ideas, like from, we do judge a book by its cover, we do
stereotype.
Stereotype. We jump to those sort of like conclusions straight away and think maybe he's blah blah blah, or maybe she's blah 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 blah.
And that's like a human thing, hey, because we want to like put things into like what we've already experienced before and be like, oh, categorize.
Exactly, and it's those assumptions I think that we all just make, and I think it goes not just in the music industry, but like everywhere. If we could just sort of, I don't know, how do we fix that?
Just take that out of the equation.
How do we just sort of like, it's really hard to walk in anywhere and go blank slate.
Yeah.
Because we're subconsciously judging, not necessarily in a bad way, but we're making all of these decisions and judgments, whatever we do. Yeah.
And do you find the way that you're reacted to as a female different in Australia and in the USA?
You know what, I haven't actually experienced anything different. I think kind of like what we were talking about before in the last episode about the amount of work that there is in the US compared to here. So there's obviously a lot more over there. So it sort of allows for, it allows more opportunity for a lot of people. Whereas in Australia, where it can, I haven't found this yet, but some other people I know have said that they've experienced that people are a bit tight with their knowledge and what they know, and a little bit fearful that if I tell that person too much, they might get ahead and they might sort of steal my gig, or they might become my competition, or that sort of thing. So in terms of sort of differing between here and the US, what was the question?
Just if you find a difference in the way that you're treated as a woman in Australia.
Okay, as a woman. Sorry, I go off on tangents. It's like, what's for dinner tonight? No, I think it's pretty much the same. You know, I think, look, the reactions I was just talking about, the eyebrow raise and the element of surprise, that has happened in the US as well, but it's not, it in both places, it really hasn't happened from music, because I think musicians get it. They don't judge whether you're female or male. They just go, hey, what do you do? And you tell them what you do, and they say, yeah, cool. And that's just it. Doesn't matter if you're guy, girl, or whatever. But in the, where was I going with this? Doesn't matter if you're a guy or a girl. Lost my train of thought. This was going somewhere good.
With the US and Australia?
Oh, no, I know where I was going now. Yeah. But, so it doesn't happen with musicians, but it seems to happen with people who aren't directly related to the music firsthand. It's more so the writers, the directors, the producers, the people who are hiring you as a musician. They're the ones who kind of go, oh, you write that sort of music.
Yeah.
Whereas a musician kind of just goes, yep, we know that you can, because I'm a musician too. Yeah, we all write music, and we all talk the same language. But yeah, it's the other side of things, where they sometimes think, do I, as a producer or as an executive producer, am I going to take the risk that this girl knows how to write action?
Yeah.
And once they
Be
hear
dark and ominous.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And once they hear your work, then they're sort of, your work will stand for itself. Your work will say everything, really, I think.
Yeah.